Every student knows that college is expensive. If mom and dad aren't paying for it, students are left with very few options. Either take out loans or get a job. Busing and waiting tables can pull in a few bucks to cover a few nights out. Here at SUNY New Paltz, some students have found a more unconventional means of paying for their tuition.
You know, it's one thing to be comfortable being naked. It's another thing to be, I'd like to say, indifferent. I'm indifferent when it comes to being naked. I feel exactly the same as I do when I'm wearing clothes, aside from the fact that usually I'm colder.
Do you want to do like a more of a seated pose?
Yeah,
So
I think
you're-
sit would be good.
more, yeah.
Amy West is an undergraduate student studying communications and media. However, her true passion lies outside of the production studio. So, tell me how you got into being a model, like maybe what got you initially interested in it.
Titanic, the painting from Titanic of the woman. I thought that was like, I saw that and I was like, oh, it's so beautiful. But it was also like, I'm very comfortable with my body, and I kind of have this androgynous look to me. Small hips, small hourglass, kind of wider shoulders, and really defined features, and it's the artsy look.
Amy has been a nude model for 7 years. Her profession has taken her into photography and art studios, as well as artists' homes for one-on-one sessions. She recently moved back to New Paltz and is working hard to establish contacts and rebuild her portfolio. Recently, Amy has been lending her talents to the art department at SUNY New Paltz.
I'm a professional, but I don't proclaim myself as one.
Amy isn't the only one taking advantage of this employment opportunity. There are over 20 models working with the art department, most of whom are SUNY New Paltz students. A number of things make the position attractive to students. It's the highest paying part-time job on campus. Hours are flexible, and at first glance, it seems pretty simple. Just as long as you're okay with the whole nudity thing. Carly, another student model, certainly fits the bill.
I think some people do get really nervous when they do this, and I'm not one of those people.
Carly is a third-year political theory major at SUNY New Paltz, who I met after one of her sessions in the Smiley Art Building. She loves the benefits that she gains from being a model.
A lot of it pays really well. It's something that I'm really passionate about, and I enjoy doing, and I feel like I'm really good at. So overall, it gives me money, self-confidence, something to do. It allows me to meet people.
While I was in Smiley, I also met an experienced local artist named Claudia who had come in for the open session. As we talked, I learned that she too had worked as a part-time model.
I was going to college and I wanted a job that I could study and get paid. I understood what artists were looking for as far as placement in space. And so I knew that just standing there brought nothing to them.
She also shared her perspective on the matter as an artist.
You can do a beautiful drawing exactly as something looks, but it will be dead. And so how do you bring life into that? How do you draw the audience into what you're doing? How do you evoke emotion?
With all that I'd heard about figure study, I wanted to see it firsthand. Amy invited us to sit in on one of her private sessions. I met her in front of the school library along with the artist who hired her. It was a cold, rainy day, but the air was hot in the living room of Amy's home. And yes, she was naked.
All right, we're good.
Despite the heat, Amy consistently held pose after pose.
Sweating so much under there.
During the session, I thought about how odd it was that, just an hour ago, Amy seemed like any other person. But now that she'd removed her clothes and struck a pose, she had seemingly shed her identity and taken on a new persona. Surprisingly, when I spoke to her after the session, she seemed very relaxed, but not tired.
I could definitely go another hour, but, I leave the duration up to the artist rather than me.
And a lot of it is up to the artist. Because of the interactive nature of a one-on-one session, there's a lot of communication between the artist and the model. Amy tries to understand the artist's needs before posing.
So how do you want me to pose? Do you want it back? Do you want front? Do you want side? Do you want sitting, laying, standing? How much movement do you want? And I just kind of break it down so that I can really figure out what they want.
But as Claudia told us before, the translation from the eye to the pen is left up to the artist. So if the artist is the one that brings the picture to life, then what makes the model important? How much of the final product comes from the artist, and how much comes from the subject? What really makes a good model?
Not everyone can do it. There's something in a model that has to be exciting.
If it was one thing, I'd say the ability to consistently hold poses. And for those poses to be emotional, dynamic, and lively. There's more to it than you're a figure that's being drawn, and that's important that artists look at you and see you not as a person but as a figure. But you don't want to be a mannequin. You want to be a figure that's alive.
As I spoke with Amy in the studio, I was suddenly reminded of something. You reminded me of, I don't remember how old I was, but when I was a kid, my dad opened the door to my room, and I was like, yo, I'm naked, get out of here. And he was like, relax, I've seen it all before. And I was like, but this is different.
That's funny because my mother used to yell at me because I would walk around the house naked. And she'd be like, put some clothes on. And I'm like, why? I just got out of the shower and it's hot outside. She's like, well, at least put on some shorts. And I'm like, but I don't want to wear shorts. This is more comfortable.
So whether you view modeling as a hobby or a way to pay for tuition, it all comes down to an art. The art of being nude.
Good? Okay, so we'll do this one for half an hour. All right? Okay.